run by the S.T.A.R.S group. And this is Brian Anderson, and he's going to be leading the presentation. So, everybody, pay attention in case there's a zombie apocalypse.
How y'all doing today? My name is Brian Anderson. As he just introduced me, I'm the leader and founder of S.T.A.R.S Cincinnati. We kill zombies for charity. You can find us on Facebook at S.T.A.R.S Cincinnati. Here today we're doing a zombie survival. How many of y'all seen a zombie movie, period? Walking Dead, Night of the Living Dead. Anybody seen the recent World War Z?
Yeah, that's good.
That's one type of zombie I wouldn't want to go against. Alright, just the same with zombie survival, it goes with any disaster preparedness. Anybody watch Doomsday Preppers?
Yeah.
Alright. You know, any disaster scenario, it could be an earthquake, it could be a tornado, it's always good to have a plan of action. Having supplies ready to go, like having a base something simple as a first aid kit in your house, you're preparing. But zombie apocalypse ever occurs, the CDC actually announced a couple years ago, it's not impossible, but it's not very likely to occur. Because they do have at least 6 viruses in their vaults at any of the CDC facilities that can cause an outbreak similar to what you see in movies for a zombie outbreak. Scary, isn't it? Basically, with the whole zombie, media, like from The Walking Dead to everything, it's basically desensitizing everybody. Basically, if it ever actually happens, there'll be less panic. Because the panic is what's going to kill you faster than the zombie. Alright, we go into the different sections of zombie preparedness. We're going to cover also about having food. How you're going to get food. How you're going to get fuel for your car. And also how to defend yourself as a zombie, especially if you don't have a weapon. Alright, starting off with food. A lot of people say it's like if a zombie outbreak occurs, there's a lot of people who try to say they're going to go try to take over a Walmart or raid a Walmart. That's the stupidest idea ever. You're going to have everybody else with the same idea, and a lot of people are going to have guns, and they will kill you for what you have. Sometimes other survivors are the ones that are going to kill you quicker than a zombie. Because in this day and world, this day and age, you can't really trust anybody unless those you're close to. Also, you want to know where to get gas for your vehicles. Most gas stations are going to be shut down. Not going to have any power to power the gas pumps. There's always siphoning gas out of people, abandoned cars. But the number one big thing to get fuel, housing developments, neighborhoods. People have to maintain their lawns, mow their lawns, which means they have gas cans in their garages and in their sheds. Just hopefully nobody's holed up in there and they see you stealing their gas, they're going to shoot you. And if you ever watched Doomsday Preppers, those who watched it, being on that show, they're making themselves huge targets. A lot of times, they try to say they're trying not to disclose their location, but they're giving their location away, especially if someone lives in that area. They recognize everything. They recognize them, making themselves targets. Other survivors are going to go after them to get their supplies. Case in point, if you know somebody that actually is a prepper and you see them walk around as a zombie, you know where to get your next supplies. Alright, we're going to go a little hand-to-hand demonstration. How are you going to take down a zombie if you do not have a weapon? So there. Basically hand-to-hand, if you're dealing with a zombie, anybody here actually ever had a martial art training? What did you take? What did you take? Yeah, what did you take? What type of martial arts did you take?
Like a basic form of karate.
There was a form of karate.
Oh, mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts. Sometimes that'll come in handy. To have any type of self-defense training. But what I'm about to show y'all is very, very simple. Anybody can do it. Basically what you're going to try to do, the zombies coming at you, but if you have tons of zombies, you're screwed anyway. Come on, it's all in towards me. Then he's a zombie.
Yeah, good bear.
Oh, forgot to introduce him. This is Epsilon from Pittsburgh, from the Pittsburgh group.
Pittsburgh Anti-Zombie Corps. Pleasure to meet you on the
Basically, hopefully it's a slow-moving zombie like out of George Romero's Living Dead or Walking Dead, and not the rage zombies from 20 Days Later or World War Z.
roll.
Yeah. Slow-moving zombie coming at you. Basically, you're going to try to sidestep them, trip them to the ground, get them on the ground, stomp them on the head.
Stomp them as hard as you can. Yeah, no.
And the other thing, for weapons, what are you going to do for weapons? There's weapons around you all the time. Like these chairs, for instance. You can use that as a weapon. A pen. They say the pen's mightier than the sword. You know what you can do with a pen against a zombie? Push it through its eye all the way up to the brain. You took down the zombie with a pen.
Also put them back here.
Yeah. If it's a sharp enough pen. Like
That's
that.
weapon right there.
Yeah. And the flagpole can be used as a weapon. Next up, blades. Well, some people say, what's a knife going to do against a zombie? Walking Dead's already proved how effective knives are against zombies. Stab them right in the skull, as hard as you can. Same with a screwdriver. So next up, oh, almost forgot. The other thing you can do with a knife against a zombie or anybody attacking you, especially for people that are really short, even kids. You know, if you're going up against a zombie, blade, sharp part of the blade, catch them right there, right behind the ankle. It will bring them down and make them move even slower. That way you can run away. Next up, handguns. We are the most armed country in the world, for citizens-wise. Me, personally, I am a supporter of the Second Amendment. With, proper instruction, safe handling with guns, making somebody responsible, perfect. With handguns, they're more for close range, they're not for long range. And you do not want to waste any bullets, especially if a zombie apocalypse occurs. It's like if you run out of ammo, where are you going to get your ammunition from? Unless you know how to make bullets, you're not going to be able to get any more. Zombie coming up, you want to be able to let the zombie get close enough where it can't touch you, but you know for a fact you can make the shot without wasting your ammo. They get close enough, bang. Aim for the head. You've got to hit the brain. If you're just getting the face, you're not taking them down.
And make sure you don't aim for the torso. That'll waste ammunition very, very quick.
And also, like she just said, double tap. Anybody know what double tap means? Anybody that don't know what double tap means? Double tap means you make a second shot into their skull, make sure that they are down for the count and they're not getting up. Alright, I mentioned World War Z. Who actually seen World War Z? In Israel, when they were fighting from building to building and also in the old ancient tunnels. When they noticed the headshots weren't working and they were shooting point blank range, what did they use? Their grenades. They used their grenades. And unless you're military or anything like that, you're not going to have access to grenades unless you find a bunch of military dead and find their equipment and their weapons. The only way you're going to wind up getting grenades. Also, unless you know how to make them. Alright. The other form of weapons, shotguns. Shotguns and rifles. There's multiple uses with the shotgun and rifle instead of just shooting somebody. This is actually a multi-point weapon. You've got some buttstock, especially if you run out of ammunition or if they're so close on you, you can push them off. Or if you hit them hard enough with the buttstock, you might be able to take them out that way. And And the other thing about them, some weapons, you can figure a way, attach the blade to the end of it, you have the bayonet. Other points of using when we talked about with the knives, striking through their skulls. Other mid-range weapons like Uzis and M4s and M16s, unless you have access to law enforcement or military supplies, these are going to be hard to find as well. But they're effective. But they also waste a lot of ammunition. Just like you don't want to go full auto on just a few zombies. Anybody not know what full auto means? Full auto is when that's full auto.
Who here has actually ever fired a real firearm on fully automatic?
Hasn't. Or has. Has. Who has fired an automatic weapon before? I know you have.
Basically, one thing about fully automatic weapons, when you fire a fully automatic weapon, you won't see it with these airsofts. No, maybe if I turn safety on. Another thing, firearms, learn where the safety is.
Also,
But with these, there is recoil. If you don't know how to fire one of these, you will miss 95% of the shots.
Also, one other bad point about using guns, other than running and being low on ammunition, the noise it makes, the sound. Sometimes you can hear a gunshot for miles. And every single zombie in that area is going to hear that gunshot and is going to come to where you're ever at, which means you'll have more zombies to contend with. Unless you have a silencer on your gun, then you're good. Have some sort of sound suppressor where it's not making the noise go further. So you have less to deal with. All you want to do is not how many zombies you can kill. You want to be able to survive. Keep surviving for the long term until it's all over and done with. The other thing is medicine. If you have allergies or anything else, you want to be able to make sure you still have your medication. It's like yes, you can probably go raid some pharmacy that's been abandoned. Hopefully nobody's already cleaned out Benadryl.
Who has asthma? Who uses an inhaler that have asthma?
Yeah, how are you going to get the Buterol or anything like that? Which means having to find pharmacies anywhere else that may have it, and hopefully they have it, and hopefully the place is not overrun. There's a lot to think about. It's in with any disaster. Think about zombie preparedness. It prepares you for any disaster. From earthquakes, tornadoes, or if we get invaded by another country. What are you going to do? There's a terrorist attack, and they're about to nuke the city, and you have to leave the city. Where are you going to go? Have a place to go. And, figure out a place to go that's out in the country that you already had set up. That's always the best preparedness with, and also a way to get out of the city, because you're not going to have to just, worry about your car. You're going to have to worry about everybody else's car that's on the road. And everybody else trying to get out of the city as quick as possible. There's one other thing about the military. The U.S. government, they're planning, if the zombie outbreak ever actually occurred, you have 6 hours to get away from any major city, because they're going to nuke it. Cincinnati would get nuked within 6 hours of an outbreak. If they cannot contain the virus in the city and the infection, it will be dropping nukes. So if you can get out of the city within 6 hours, you have a chance of survival. If you stick around, your survival chances are dropping very, very quickly.
Make sure you get out the maximum safe distance.
Yeah, maximum safe distance is at least 50 miles. You can do up to 30, but with the fallout rate, avoid the nuclear fallout, that's what's going to kill you if you're not caught in the actual blast zone. Radiation fallout will give you radiation poisoning and will kill you within a matter of hours, if not quicker.
In regards to getting out of cities, does anybody know what the speed limit of the I-75 or I-71 is? 55 to 65. You know how fast it's going to be if some type of disaster or apocalypse happens? It's going to be a parking lot.
It's going to be a parking lot. You think rush hour is bad on a weekday on I-71, 275, or 75? People leaving work, or even going to work. It's going to be 10 times worse, if not more. Always have plans, alternate routes to take out of the city. Back roads, anywhere there's going to be less traveled. And anywhere that's less traveled, your survival rate will increase anywhere that's less traveled. Because the freeways are going to be parking lots, which means you're going to be sitting ducks for any of the undead. It's going to be a whole all-you-can-eat buffet. Avoid the freeways until you're well out of the cities. Then they might be just open, totally clear wherever you're going. Also, it's like any city with a CDC plant, avoid those. Because once they're, Walking Dead made a point of this at the end of the first season. Any of the CDC facilities, when they run out of power and their backup generators quit working, they blow up to contain so the viruses they have in their balls do not escape. So it's basically what the type of explosive is. Almost like a nuke. It's underground explosion, but it's going to take out part of that city.
Health organizations?
Yeah, World Health Organizations have the same policy. Their backup power ends, and the generators fail, it goes boom.
That's backup so that things they had like the Black Plague and some of the things that killed most of the world at this point doesn't get back out.
Especially like smallpox, Spanish flu, Ebola. Those are just named just a few that are out that they have in their vaults that can cause massive outbreaks and will kill even people even quicker. World War Z had another point in there. Their type of zombies. They ignored people with terminal illnesses. We don't know if that's going to work or not. The other thing, if there's a zombie outbreak, study the zombie. Watch them or wherever you're hiding at. Figure out their weaknesses. Find out what works to get around them to survive. Because there's a saying that knowledge is power. The zombies, they don't have the same intelligence that we do. If what they did, we'd all be done. But anybody else have any pointers?
Who here has a home security system, ADT, anything like that? Who knows how a system like ADT works? The way that an ADT style system or a home security system works is you have an alarm on your front door. You set a code. Anybody opens the doors to magnetic sensors, it sounds off an alarm. The way that you're being secured is this sends a notice to your the local police department to come let you know. Them kind of systems ain't going to do nothing if there is no police force. Home security can be a major issue. Windows that are within arm's reach. Anything like that can be busted out and they can get into your house. If you do have something like that, make sure that you look at your house. Find a way to barricade the steps or tear down the steps if needed. Second stories are great places if there's no access to it. But again, you got to make sure that no matter where you're at, you also have an exit. Rope ladders.
You have to have an escape plan. Or anywhere that you're bugging out to, hiding out, trying to survive, you need an escape plan because if you do not want it to be a death trap if they manage to get in. You want it to be able to where you can actually escape easily, but not where they can get in at.
And even being more careful than usual in any type of apocalypse situation. You will not have easy access to rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, triple antibiotic oil, things that we take for advantage because we have it all the time. That means unless you're running to get away, be careful. Even when you're running to get away, be careful where you're stepping. A pothole, a sinkhole, a gopher hole can scrape you up, in a small infection
Or break your ankle.
A small infection can kill you a lot quicker than any zombie apocalypse.
Learn survival skills as well.
Yeah, survival skills, definitely.
Learn how to hunt. Learn how to field dress a deer or a bear.
Forage.
Fish. learn how to make your own clothing. Learn how to make your own domicile. Yeah, I think Daryl Dixon had it right with the crossbow. Silent but deadly. It can kill zombies and it can kill food. And also, during the height of the epidemic, try your best to stay mobile. Stay in one spot, the zombies will catch your scent and they will go right to you.
And before you know it, you'll have hundreds, if not thousands, right outside your door, banging on the door, trying to get in. Yeah, you don't want a flaming zombie running around the place and torching everything, and then you have anything else to worry about, being burning to death.
And for crossbows and knives, you don't want to use the same blade or arrow on food.
No.
And also, too, if you're dealing with a corpse, burn it. If you have no idea how this epidemic came about, whether it's protean in nature, whether it's airborne, bloodborne, if you get a scratch from this animal and you turn. Also take note of how quickly one turns as well. I actually heard one survival enthusiast actually hypothesize taking a zombie prisoner just to study it, as they did in 28 days later.
Unless you're,
Proves to be a problem.
unless you're trained, military, police, how to restrain anything to the point that it cannot move. Yeah.
Another place never to go, the hospital.
Unless you're trained for that, don't try this. Restraining somebody is not going to work if you don't know what you're doing.
Especially if they are feral.
If, for example, if I took Epsilon here and handcuffed him, he's fairly calm right now. It's going to be easy. If he's a ravenous beast,
Something like that.
yeah, it's not going to be as easy. Does anybody have any questions at all? Anything that they're curious about?
Any questions?
Any concerns that we can address? And please don't ask me to do that funky dance.
I demand the dance again.
No. Do the dance again?
Yes, the dance was pretty awesome.
No! Not gonna happen.
Do the dance again.
No! Don't you do it! Don't you do it either! For the love of God, don't do it!
Well, I'll do it. Definitely appreciate everybody coming out. This definitely helps out the Historical Society, even if it's as fun as talking about zombies. So, make sure that you check out all the vendors. A lot of these guys are really cool. So, y'all have fun.
And thank you, and make sure if you're on Facebook, give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/STARS Cincinnati.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you, everyone.